So, what is a mode air test? A mode air test is when an inspector or a mode assessor is going to set up a tripod and a mode air pump that's going to pull air through what's called a air cassette. And on that air cassette, there's going to be a petri dish that will be removed and looked at by the lab. And in the lab, they're going to look for the mode concentration count in the air for different mold spores. And they're going to give you those measurements in a quantitative report. And on that report, you're going to get a basis of either low, moderate, or elevated amounts of mold spores in the area. Now, the way you'll know if the mold spore count is elevated or not is pretty simple. It's like I talked about. It's a quantitative report, and all they're going to do is they're going to use per cubic meter. They're going to look at the concentration amount, and if it's over 500, then it could be considered outside of normal range. Anything 500 or below is considered normal. When doing the mode air test, the inspector is going to have to take usually at least one control, but it is recommended to take two, one in the windward direction and one opposite of that. And that's going to be used as, both those are going to be used as the control. Now, the reason for taking two controls is the controls are very important for interpreting the results of the inside samples, because what the lab is going to do is they're going to take the control samples and they're going to compare and say, okay, this is what is the amount of mold spore count typically naturally in the area, right? Because there's mold spores everywhere, right? Naturally in the area. So they're going to take those control mold spore counts and look at that and compare that to the inside count. And like I said, if the inside count is higher than the control, then that's how you know, obviously, that it's elevated. Now, the amount of air samples that your inspector is going to take is going to vary based on the size of the home. So the square footage is going to dictate a little bit as well as much air samples you take, because obviously a 5,000 square foot home, you're going to want to take more air samples to get a more of an understanding of the mold problem in the home. Now, you don't have to, right? You could take a mold air sample of just also a specific area that there's moisture issues, maybe on a ceiling, and if you want to test that area and get a mold spore count, you can do that as well and compare that to the control sample. Now, what would be the purpose of getting a mold air test? Well, typically there's really three reasons why you would get a mold air test. The main reason obviously would be to see if the levels are elevated for safety reasons. Maybe like you said, like I mentioned earlier, there's a high risk individual living in the home. Now, you might also get the mold air report for maybe legal reasons. Maybe your HOA, or maybe there's somebody that's supposed to be in charge of the maintenance of wherever you're living at, and they're trying to say that there is no mold and you need a mold air report to prove that there is an elevated amount of mold. Then this could also serve its purpose as well. And then thirdly, if you're getting this mold report, like I said, if you're buying a house and it's been vacant and you're just trying to figure out, maybe it has a weird smell to it, if the levels are elevated, you know, maybe you're trying to get this mold air report to get more insight on the home you're buying.